Always has to be a shot at somebody.
I know.
They're never clean.
They have to run. That's the only shot they have.
They do it for 82 games. We're about to find out.
He already has shown what he's capable of.
Did surprise me. I thought we were going to hang in there.
This makes me think that we do need to be humble.
I actually think you're the only one who deserved that. What's going on, Jimmy Toscano?
Yeah, I'm in it.
What's
Let
up, buddy?
Play. Hey,
I
we're
only
smiling
come
on the show, John.
I only come for victories.
Hey, you're the good luck guy. Now you're going to be on
That's
every show.
That's it. I'm only here
Coaching
for
you
victories.
Every show. Dun-na. Celtics are in the win column
They did it.
in the year 2025. Let's do it.
Yeah. Convincing 122-90 win. Most importantly, Jimmy, they won 3 out of the 4 quarters tonight, which
Does that count for like 3 mini wins?
that's big. You get extra points for winning quarters.
I love that.
So this was a good get right game. My God, boy,
Slump buster.
would things have gotten ugly if they lost this game, especially without Zion playing and this miserable Pelicans team.
You don't have to think about
Bad.
it.
But so
think about
not only did they win, Jimmy, they won convincingly. I mean, they got the lead to 23 points. That was their big. I mean, a 20-point lead was the biggest they'd had this season, and then they, absolutely blew the Pelicans' doors off in the fourth quarter there, outscoring
it was like
them.
a 4-point game, and all of a sudden the Celtics just said, no, we're not.
I mean, total shutdown from New Orleans. Celtics, did a lot of it to them, 35-12. A lot of headlines off of today, and a lot of good stuff to talk about. So I think that is fun. It's more fun to talk about good stuff, right?
Yes.
You like the good stuff.
Love the good stuff, especially on a Monday,
Yeah. Real
Mondays
quick,
suck.
we'll tell you about our pals over at Prize Picks, sponsors here at the Garden Report and at the CLNS Media Network, #1 daily fantasy sports app, all of North America. Download the Prize Picks app, use code CLNS, get 50 in your lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Also, you want to get yourself some very, very affordable, high quality steaks. Head over to omahasteaks.com, running a 50% site-wide sale right now. In addition to that, you use code Patriots at checkout, you will get an extra $35 off your order. Order it for now, order it for the holidays, whatever you want to do, but get in there now. This deal will not last forever. Once again, code Patriots at checkout, $35 off at omahasteaks.com. Terms do apply. All right, Jimmy, look, lots of things mattered. I don't know what this is. Oh, okay. Sorry. I'm looking at things. Lots of things matter today. And I think, that the headlines jumping off the page are going to be, for one, Josh Minott, who was a DNP-CD inexplicably in New York, gets his first career start, had a terrific game. Big spark plug there. Finished an obscene plus 42 on the game. The rebounding advantage, Jimmy, this was where they were getting killed. 54-35. Celtics also dominated in second chance points. So the things that were killing them in games where everyone could look at it and say, oh man, if only they this, if only they that, it worked tonight. A lot of it worked. They were able to hit the glass. And again, New Orleans doesn't really play traditional bigs. Zion is a bit of a force on the offensive glass. Not having him there made things a little bit easier for them as well. But again, credit where it's due. You're supposed to be able to, at least hold your own in a rebounding battle against a team like this. And they did. That was a huge difference in this game. Ton of second chance points where they just weren't getting any at all. And you saw all the numbers in the first 3 losses. That was the common theme. Two common themes: killed and rebounding. And the rebounding percentage was brutal. And their assists were bad. They just weren't moving the ball and they weren't making shots. The best shooters weren't shooting well. You got good stuff today, and then you had the Anthony Simons game. Those are your headlines. What of the 3 impressed you the most?
Well, I think what I want to say is it's good to see the things happen that you needed to see happen, right? I think a lot of us are worried that maybe these guys just will never be able to rebound. Maybe, and again, this is the first win. This is how you're going to need to play, at least in most cases, to pull up these wins. So it's good to see some of those things that people have been clamoring for actually happen. It gives you a little peace of mind knowing that, okay, they can put performances together like this. They can grab rebounds and be physical. They can hit shots. Anthony Simons is an unbelievable outside, shooter, volume 3-point shooter, to the point where you kind of wonder if maybe he cracks the starting lineup, on a regular basis.
Oh, controversy.
Yeah, exactly. And maybe some of the guys that are used to the role-playing roles kind of go back to the role-playing roles or the bench roles. That doesn't mean that their minutes are going to get cut down. It just means they go back to the role that they've had success in, right? And by the way, Simons has had success as a starter in this league. So you're trying to fit pieces into roles and places that they aren't used to. You're going to have a bumpy start to the season. And I think that's kind of what happened here, amongst other things. But seeing that aggressiveness, seeing the rebounds, and yes, I know it's against the Pelicans without Zion Williamson, so take everything with a little bit of a grain of salt. But John, they won the game they needed. They won the game in the way they should have won the game, when a mediocre at best, borderline bad team's best player is not out there. So I'm happy with this win. It was borderline hard hat. I did not put the hard hat on today because I don't want to lower I don't want to lower like the bar too crazy here. Like, we're Boston Celtics fans. We expect the best. We expect wins against great teams, and we expect them to play hard. They got their first win of the year, and I think they've got some basis to go off here, right? A little bit of a blueprint. I don't think they learned anything crazy. Like, maybe if we rip down more of these boards, we can finally outlet. We can score in transition. We can move the ball around, and we can get open threes. All of those things happened, and you got the result that you looked for.
Yeah, and so I guess ultimately, is the problem solved? Like, in the same way that nobody wants to overreact to 3 losses, I don't want to overreact to a win. It's much better to see them do good things rather than bad things, and it's great to see them fix things that were just horribly wrong. And again, they got that assist number up there as well, averaging 17 on the season, up to 25. And that's going to happen. They didn't shoot
shots
great.
Fell too, though, John. Don't forget.
But they didn't shoot great. Only 18 for 53 from 3. So a lot of it was they got easier buckets, which was not a terrible thing as well. And some of those were, credit to the rebounding and the second chance points that they got as well. The question is, did Joe find something? Because you're going to look at the final numbers and you're going to see some things that really pop out here. You're going to see a plus 42 in 28 minutes for Josh Minott as a starter, also jumping in there with 9 rebounds. And again, he's an athletic guy. He's replacing somebody like Sam Hauser. Naturally, you would think someone like that is going to be able to do more on the boards. I thought Queta, despite only scoring 6 points, played one of his best all-around games. 4 blocks, the most for a Celtic since of Robert Williams days.
Oh boy. Yeah.
We miss you, Rob. Hold on.
Yeah,
okay.
Silence. There we go.
I just need a minute. I need
Get
a minute.
Together.
So you have that. Mazzulla said at the beginning of the year, Jimmy, like, we're going to tweak our, he talked about how not having a set lineup or a set rotation is going to be a strength for this team. I mean, I think that's coach speak for, I don't know who the fuck I'm going to play.
Right.
And I'm going to have to tinker a little bit, and that's okay. And that is okay. I can't for the life of me fathom starting guys and then like giving them a DNP-CD. I'm not going to make this why did Hugo sit the whole game show? But I don't get why Minott sat against New York. I thought at worst he's a serviceable 10, 12, 15 minute per game energy guy off the bench. It was weird that he sat that whole game. And then he gets inserted in a starting lineup 2 games later. But like, this felt better. You're kind of tweaking. You're trying to figure out what's your lineup going to look like. This one I don't think is terrible right now with Minott in there. The problem is the shooting. I think this is where Joe is stuck. He did it with Hugo and he's done it with Minott. And I think it's hard for him to have a lineup out there where you have 2 guys that can't shoot at all. They can't shoot very well. And that's what you have every time Queta is your starting center. You don't have a stretch 5. So anytime you're putting something out there that's going to provide you something like defense, which is what Hugo and Minott give you. Mm-hmm. If you defend, you can't shoot. If you shoot, you can't defend. That's been a problem this year. But I'd still rather live with this lineup right now. Let them play high energy, let them hit the boards, and let them survive a little bit longer than what they had going before.
Yeah, and I think that's the look when the game starts, and I think they have to pick and choose when Kate is in there, right? Because I think that's more of a Kata line that you see tonight, John. The 6 points, 11 boards, more so than 17 points on opening night. Like I don't think anyone's expecting him to go out there and get buckets like that. But if you're seeing an aggressive Kata, grabbing boards, playing defense, that's what they want. But you're right. It used to be 5 offensive players in that starting lineup, right? I mean, at any given time.
And you can't do that anymore.
And you can't do that. So it's a huge shift in the strategy involved, and that's where the coaching comes into play here. But I also think having some shooting off the bench like the way that they can now with Simons, I know right now Hugo didn't play and he's not a shooter, but if they're mixing and matching players, you might have a situation where Hauser can come off the bench for you. So I think Joe is just trying to I can't figure out how a guy goes from DNP CD to starting, and he's done that. Now we've got 2 players now that have done that. So Minott and now Hugo. So I can't really figure that one out. But I think Joe is going to figure out at some point sooner than later here which guys he can depend on in certain situations offensively. And then the rest of the guys, he just wants them to play winning basketball, right? Which is what Minott does out there. Is plays hard, athletic, runs the floor, grabs the boards, makes smart plays, doesn't hurt you, kind of playing heady basketball in a way. I think that's what you're going to get from majority of these players. And then you have to depend on your shooters to fill the bucket. And that was Simons tonight. So I know we're going to talk about Simons a little bit, especially when Bobby and Noah jump on here, because he was the guy who stood out to me in game 1. When I was at, opening night, he was the guy I said, okay, I know he's coming off the bench and he might do that for a little bit, but if you're playing the best players here to start, he's one of them, and so it's only a matter of time, in my opinion. Whether or not he starts isn't really the point. I do think I am of the belief that he should start, get him into a group earlier on, but I think regardless, he's going to have a huge say in this offense, and they're going to figure out ways to get him looks because he's just one of those unconscious shooters.
Yeah, I mean, this was good. This was what we kind of needed from him to see it because he hadn't done it yet. But like that, there's no worry with someone like him. The worry is like at times I watch him and I question his like
is it
focus or basketball instincts, right? He's just,
I think you have to do things for him. I don't think he's going to do things for you, if that makes sense. But
you see him on defense. I don't think his instincts are great, though the effort's been better. Tonight, I thought he was really good. I actually tweeted one time, did a really good job and locked somebody down late in the clock where he stepped in there. He had a great steal late as well, going back and kind of playing free safety. I thought he looked much more focused defensively tonight. I think that kind of helps him there because you're not worried like, holy crap, Joe's going to kill me. And it just lets it kind of flow and then lets you play your game. But like, I don't care if he shoots poorly for a couple of games. Like he's a walking bucket. You absolutely need it. And you need it on this team because again, there's simply not enough guys here who can generate their own offense. And he's got to be one of them on a nightly basis. Like he's got to be, I don't care how many minutes he plays or if he's coming off the bench, he's got to be a 16, 18, 20 point per game guy for this team because they need it. Whether he starts or not, I don't particularly care. Pritchard shot a little bit better tonight, and that was good. He was more active. He was definitely feistier. So I like that as well. But Simons is key. They need Simons, especially when you have like a down Jaylen Brown game or Derek White still kind of struggling to figure it out, particularly from 3. White 1 for 9 today. He's just been brutal. Another bad shooting night, but again, plus 21 John, for him on that. Yeah.
Can you imagine what it would look like if the Celtics got their wish and they were able to unload Simons, which it seemed like that's what we all thought they were trying to do this offseason when they traded for him and didn't make an announcement. Nobody was really sure if he was going to stick around or if they were going to try to flip that contract to save more money. I mean, this guy might be your most, not your most, but he's right up there as one of your more dependable scorers on this team. And
yeah, but if we knew that though, it really is more.
But we didn't know if he could be on the team.
No, but I mean, what I'm saying is that it was if they did trade him, that was just signifying what we all thought which was they're really punting hard on this season, and everybody should stop trying to be optimistic because they're not serious about winning. I'm
Right.
still dubious, but I mean, certainly if you're in contention, or in that top 6 and you're going to make the playoffs, and certainly if there's a chance that Tatum returns, you're not going to trade pieces right now. But
No.
if things go to hell, yeah, I mean, I think you're still looking at that possibility. The other thing I wanted to mention, actually, in terms of keys to the game, the fouls. That's another area they've been brutal in, to go with the lack of assists and the getting killed in the rebounding. 25 fouls plus per game the first 3 games. Scal said on the broadcast, the championship season, the entire season, they did that once. They had fouled 25 plus times, and in the first half they were doing it again, and it was brutal. And I think they had 17 fouls committed in the first half, and they were headed for another monster night. Only 7 in the second half, and only 6 free throws, I think, total in the second half for the Pelicans, which, again, good sign, because it showed that they defended straight up, just played it. And, I'm going to give some love to Queta here for being that guy and being back there and kind of swatting stuff away. He was, the 4 blocks he registered, I think he affected 2 or 3 more shots there. He was pretty good. He also did an awesome job on the defensive boards tonight. And I think their rebound percentage was extremely high. I don't know what it ended up finishing at, but they cleaned up the glass tonight. That was a big, I'm giving, Queta's getting my brownie right now. If I had to give it out, everyone's going to want to go Minott and Simons. It's early to declare it. I'm just going to declare my love for Neemias here. I thought he was awesome.
Yeah. And, we've talked about it on the last few shows, John. These guys, when Queta's not playing the way he plays tonight, they're lost out there on the glass. There's really not much they can do. If they sell it on the glass, they're not going to be able to get out on the run. And so, for Queta to be active and to be physical and to sort of show his presence down there, it's huge for this team. And again, you don't need him to go out and give you 15, 20 points a game. You really don't. It's a bonus when he does, and you really shouldn't lose any game where he gives you that amount of offense. I still can't figure out how they lost game 1. But it's his ability to be physical, to play consistent, to not get into foul trouble, because that's one of the biggest knocks on him, John, too, is that he can come into the game and pick up 2 quick fouls, and then what? Your hands are tied at that point. So I think he's playing smarter basketball, a little bit more calm, cool, collected out there, but physical as well. And again, you look down that roster, you've got some athletic, physical players, but not necessarily bigs. So there's a limit to what you're going to get on the glass. And I think if he's playing to his capabilities, you at least have a puncher's chance on the glass. So, I co-sign what you say on Queta. And Queta feels like the type of player that has been on the cusp, right, for a year plus now, of showing flashes, showing signs of him being the type of player that we know is in there, but can he do it consistently? Can he do it over 25, 30 minutes? Or is he just a bit player? Is he just somebody that's going to come in for a couple minutes in spurts and play hard, but, the motor runs out quickly, picks up 2 fouls, and, that's it, and makes a boneheaded play. So I think that he's worked a lot. Credit to him. I think he's worked a lot on his, positioning out there, physicality, but just playing smart, level-headed basketball, not playing ahead of himself. I think sometimes with Queta, he's just going, and it doesn't take much for him to find that he's, picks up 2 quick fouls, or just not playing the way that, Mazzulla wants him to play out there. So shout out to Queta 100%. I agree with you that he's like a sneaky Brownie Award guy tonight. Absolutely. If you're just looking at the box score, you wouldn't think that. But what he gave them tonight allowed them to go on that 4th quarter run.
Yeah, I thought he was great. I thought he was good. Bobby, word out of the locker room, Bobby and Noah will be reporting from New Orleans in a little bit. Bobby caught up with Neemias one-on-one. They're buddies now. Bobby went to Portugal to hang out with him. They're pals. So we'll hear
He's
from Neemias, we'll hear from Joe, we'll hear from Anthony Simons in a little bit. We want to let you know a couple notes here. Subscribe to the Garden Report on the CLNS Media Network. For those people out there watching on the Celtics All Access channel, I do want to tell you the Garden Report stream, which is on both channels, both places, is going to be moving exclusively to the CLNS Media main channel, CLNS Media channel, and that's where it's going to live live. We're still going to put up clips and put the show and other pieces of it over on that Celtics channel as well, but that's going to be reserved for a lot of the other podcasts on our network. So it's going to be moving. If you're watching over there, it's not happening right away, but
Big
in
news.
the next start to migrate, because in a couple of days it's not going to be there. And you're going to be like, huh? So I'm just telling you guys now, subscribe to the Garden Report and subscribe to the CLNS Media Network YouTube channel. Turn on your notifications. That's super important. You'll be notified every time a video drops or we go live. And if you're watching this thing, hit the like button by all means. That's great for us. Also, up to you guys, but you can support the Garden Report through Super Chat donations. All Super Chats are divided equally among the hosts of the Garden Report. It helps get Bobby razors and Jimmy guitar strings.
John, we got a big one. We got a big one a couple shows ago from Derek. I'll put this guy right here. I can't pronounce it. Derek WK.
Yeah.
200 bones.
Oh wow. Thanks,
yeah, you don't get any of it, John, because you weren't on the show.
Sure, I do.
He wants to know why do we have two streams? Well, we won't soon.
I'll tell you, I can explain very briefly why we have two channels to begin with. Once upon a time, the CLNS Media Network was on a completely different YouTube channel. It got taken down for weird, not YouTube-y reasons that we could never quite get an explanation for. So we had to start a whole bunch of new stuff. So we started team channels, and we started Celtics, we started Bruins, we started Patriots. And we had this backup CLNS channel, which is the main one. And we just started putting stuff everywhere just to try to get people to watch. And the Celtics and this one kind of ran neck and neck for a while. One didn't distance itself from the other in terms of Celtics content. And then as time went on, more people were coming here for the live, and we said, screw it. All our Garden Report stuff is going to move over there, and we just made that channel. And we have a lot of other shows on the network. Those are going to primarily be on the Celtics All Access channel, and that's where you can access it. Not super important to you guys at home, but that's to understand why do we have the two channels. That's exactly why. But as for the Super Chats, you send us a donation. We'll put your comment on the screen. We'll talk about it and give you a shout out. So we do appreciate that. But again, not necessary, but they are absolutely welcome.
Yeah.
As I said,
subscribe to all the channels. Don't even worry
subscribe
about
to
it.
all. We had an awesome day today on the network. We had multiple Patriots shows. And yeah, if you think Jimmy and I aren't going to talk about Drake May a little bit, yeah, we freaking are. We also have a Bruins post-game show.
Yikes. Maybe don't watch
here's what it looked like. This was what we looked like today.
Yeah, how cool is that?
Pretty loaded. A lot of good stuff on all our channels.
You can literally cut the cord and just watch CLNS.
You could.
Some of the best reporters and brains, football brains, hockey brains. I'm not going to say basketball brains, but Noah and Bobby certainly, anyways, when they come on, they make us smarter. But the football content we're pumping out right now, John, is unreal.
It is good. It is good. Back to the game itself. A couple things I'm going to ask Bobby and Noah about this. I'm going to nitpick a little bit. I know Joe's messing around. I'm still definitely confused what's going on with Baylor Scheierman. He got 14 minutes tonight. He hit 1-3. That was fine. He hustled. He got rebounds. Joe's definitely trying to send Baylor a message. It might be message received. It is interesting that this is the game that you're playing with your first round draft pick of the Brad Stevens era. It would be, the world is a better place if Baylor Scheierman can contribute a little bit. If he's because he's got some offensive skills, and if he can figure out what to do with them and how to be useful players are good. But man, has he been buried. This is the first time he played. He got his 14 minutes tonight, and he was okay. But Scal's talking about him the whole broadcast, like, you got to earn your minutes. You got to earn your minutes. He's freaking out over a cut that he made that cleared out the lane and allowed for a pass for someone else to hit a shot. I'm like, this is what this guy's been reduced to, huh? He's like, he's got to do the little things to really prove it to Joe. I'll ask you guys, and I'm curious, everyone in the chat. Are you guys, I actually don't have an opinion here, because earlier in the year, Yeah. Yeah, that's what he was talking about. Scal was talking about the cut he made. And then he chucked some bad threes. It is. He was in and out on the first three. He hit another one. That's fine. But my question to you, Jimmy, and the people in the chat,
Yes.
earlier in the year, Queta, I know Joe does the quick subs and this and that, but like Queta allowed an offensive rebound, got yanked out of a game 2.5 minutes in. But
Yep.
while they were waiting for the sub to come in, he had like 3 positive plays. It didn't matter. Joe had already decided, you're going to the bench. You're in my doghouse. And he did. And I didn't get it because I don't understand what we're doing here. Because I just think it's important to develop the players, but maybe this is how Joe is developing the players. I don't understand being so mad at Scheierman. I mentioned it in a preseason game. He got yanked 30 seconds into a stint in the final preseason game. Joe signaled for the sub 17 seconds into his stint. I'm like, oh my God, what is he doing? But maybe it's working. Maybe the tough love is what you need. Maybe that's what it takes to kind of smack these guys across the head and wake them up a little bit. Like, this is the NBA. Like, we're trying to win. We're the Boston Celtics. We're not the Wizards where you're going to go out here and watch Jordan Poole run around. I mean, obviously Poole is a Pelican and just do whatever the hell he wants and chuck shots and nobody gives a crap. Like, that's not what we do here.
Right.
So do you like Joe's tough love approach here? I mean, Walsh still isn't doing anything. I don't know if he's in the doghouse because of effort or Joe just doesn't think he can play at all. But Scheierman feels like he's being punished a little bit, and he got out of that doghouse a bit tonight. Queta's been in it. Different guys have been in it at different times. What do you think? Like, are you okay with that?
Yeah, I am okay with it. I think you got to earn the leash, a longer leash, I should say. And whether that means in practice or during the game, you get an opportunity to play. Joe expects you to make the most of it. If you don't, he doesn't have time to F around. Not this year. Definitely not this year. There's way too less of a margin for error, John. So if you're going to send Scheierman out there or Walsh out there or Queta, whoever it is, and they're going to do what I would assume is the complete wrong thing that Joe's been preaching for him to have that short of a leash, and you're just way off in what you should be doing compared to what they've practiced and what they've maybe talked about in the locker room before the game, what's on the whiteboard. Joe's going to say, see you later. In the same sense, though, John, I mean, we've seen him stay with guys that have earned his trust. We've seen him stay with players and not call timeouts because he wants his guys to figure it out on their own, right? I mean, we've seen him say that as reasonings, wants them to, be faced with this situation and figure out how to get out of it. So I think there's certain players he is willing to, let them go through the ups and downs. And then there's the ones who haven't earned that trust, or they haven't earned that, I don't want to say respect. I'm sure he respects everybody, but that amount of respect that you would allow him to keep them in the game and sort of play through the mistakes. Those guys haven't done anything in the league to deserve that. And yeah, it might be one of those years, John, where you would scream, play the kids. But there's a point where you play the kids and then the kids start to hurt the adults, right? And so I think Joe has to balance that out. And yeah, I think when you do take somebody out immediately or take a player out right after they do something wrong, I think it will tend to sit with them a little bit more. And that might be something that's going to be in the back of their mind when they go back out there, like, okay, make sure I definitely don't do that again and go from there. But I'm fine with that. If I have issues with Joe, it's not that he pulls the end of the bench guys too soon. I'm fine with that. So play the guys that are making the most of their playing time and try to find your rotation. They're still looking to round out that rotation, John.
Yeah, it's again, I'm poking around the chat here. None of the guys will develop. Hugo did nothing wrong and is being punished.
That I don't get. So I feel like that's a different argument.
Joe seems like
the in-game stuff is one thing, but to go a game when you started, and I mean after, I think the overall review on him was that he played fine. He's not a guy that's going to, again, it might be the offensive issue, John, that we talked about. It's just not having enough offense in the game at times. But I don't know that you have to go from a starter to a DMP to a starter to, I think that could probably weigh on a young player a little bit or affect a young player who doesn't know how to handle that, this sort of thing going on. Don't forget, these guys have, up until this point in their careers, have always been the best players, right, on their teams or in their roster. So they never had to watch full games from the bench or wonder if they're going to get any minutes. So I'm sure there's definitely an adjustment, but credit to Hugo. He says all the right things, whether it's a game he's playing or a game that he's not playing. So I think he is definitely mature for his age, and I don't think it's something that's going to like mentally affect him, at least not at this point in the season. But I do want to see him play at least at some points in the game, because that is a player that I do think the Celtics can build with. I'm not saying build around, but build with, take into future seasons. And you would like to see that develop over time. And you'd like to know that they trust him, that they do have, feelings, that they do feel that he can, contribute to this team and moving forward into teams that actually do have maybe championship aspirations.
Yeah, I mean, I've made my thoughts clear on this whole thing. I think there's a balancing act between trying to win games, because certainly you don't want to put people out there who are playing like assholes,
Right.
and not they have to do what is expected. But assuming that they are within reason, they're going to make mistakes. Like sometimes you're just going to turn the ball over, or miss an assignment, fall asleep on a back door, not back, so I don't think you can have a zero tolerance policy with people, especially 19, 22, 21-year-olds, or Scheierman, who's I think 36. But still he doesn't have a lot of someone put in the chat, he and DeAndre Jordan are the same age.
Seriously.
But
Yeah.
But my philosophy is wins and losses, whatever happens. Like I said, is you're just whatever happens this year happened this year. I have
Right, but
no
you're still
hopes,
coaching to
no
win,
aspirations. Joe is coaching to win, but it cannot come at the expense of players. So if the long game with Joe is I'm going to play the tough love card because I need these guys to figure out what they need to do to be pros. I love that. I like that. Like, that's all good. If he's going to just, quick hook a bunch of rookies who are going to make mistakes at the risk of development, I don't love that as much, because I do think you have to live with some bad. If the effort is there, you can live with them doing boneheaded shit from time to time. So
Sure.
I think you got to balance it a little bit. We're going to hear from Joe Mazzulla in just a little bit. We got to tell you again, real quick, about our pals over at Prize Picks here, #1 daily fantasy sports app in all of North America. And, you know what it is. This episode, all episodes, brought to you by Prize Picks. Don't miss the excitement this season or any season on Prize Picks, where it is good to be right. That's the slogan, Jimmy. It's good to be right. It's a simple play. Pick more or less on 2 to 6 player stat projections. If you get your picks right, could cash in up to 2,000 times your cash. You get a lot of cool features on here and a lot of protections, injury reboots. If you lose a player in the first half, it's off the board. Flex play, you can cash out early if your lineup doesn't hit. Lots of cool stuff like free squares or other promotional things that make it easier for your lineups to hit. So again, check it out. Download that app today. Use code CLNS to get $50 in your lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Once again, that is code CLNS to get 50 in your lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks. It's good to be right. We're going to bring this back here. And as I mentioned, Joe Mazzulla was
happy, Joe?
A happier guy today. We'll see how happy he is at the podium after this win. And again, an impressive win for the Celtics, their first of the year over the Pelicans. Here is Joe Mazzulla.
Questions for Joe?
Joe, you guys went on a big run in the fourth.
Well, I mean,
Jalen went out with the fifth foul there. What did that group find, and what were they able to execute down the stretch?
Yeah, I thought we just executed defensively, holding the one shot at the rebound, and obviously made some open shots. We kept our pace offensively, and we were able to knock down some open ones, whether it was off our offense or off offensive rebound. So I thought we played well, connected basketball, getting stops, keeping them off the free throw line, and then good execution in the offensive end.
The numbers of the starters, the different starting groups you've had, have been really good to start this year. What does the bench, the second unit, need to find in terms of an identity? I guess that's a starting point there in the fourth, but...
Yeah, I mean, I'd have to go back and see what those lineups are, because some of those starters are probably in those lineups as well. And so I think it just goes back to understanding, segments of the game, regardless of who's in there, who's not, what is a good possession, and then how do you manage runs, how do you stop those runs. So It depends on what lineup you're talking about, but I think it more has to do with just our execution on both ends of the floor.
Joe, what's going into that game-to-game decision of what seems to be the sort of rotating starter spot right now, at least the last 2 games? Like, what goes into that decision for you?
Yeah, we got 12, 13 guys that can impact winning any given night, and so it goes back to the depth of which we talked about. Depth is your just ability to do different things, and we got a group of guys that are willing to impact the game and give us a chance to win. So whoever fits the game plan, whoever fits the mold that night, that's who we go with, and credit to the guys for understanding that.
What about tonight's game plan fit, Josh? How did you see him sort of go?
Yeah, I mean, just his ability to pick up, guard multiple positions. They have those 4 wings that are able to, play out there, beat you off the dribble. They're really athletic, and so, just his ability to combat that. He did a great job on Fears, picking him up full court and, getting deflections, and he's getting better and better.
Joe, it seemed like the fourth quarter, or even the part of the third, was an example of what happens. You guys hit shots, don't foul, and a defense. Like, it just seemed like all 3 were clicking. The first half was kind of foul.
Yeah, it was the fouls, but it was the momentum play. So there was 2 times where we played to Alvarado's strengths. He gets 2 live ball turnovers for 5 points, and then they're a better team at home when he's playing well, and when you do stuff like that. So I thought in the second half we managed runs a lot better. We didn't play perfect, but we managed runs with lesser live ball turnovers, like you're saying, keeping them off the free throw line, rebounding, and then we got good looks. So we just have to fight to do that consistently, and that's the difference between winning and losing. I mean, we've talked about that, in this room for years, but the difference winning and losing is 10, 15 possessions. Tomorrow in film, we'll show the same possessions that we need to get better at, whether we won or whether we lost, and we got to fight to get better at those.
And then with Anthony, are you seeing him become more comfortable? It just seems like he's kind of getting into the rhythm of what you're looking for.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough. You're coming in as a primary ball handler, and you got other primary ball handlers, and he's just a graceful guy, and he just wants to win, and he wants to be a part of something. So he's kind of have to balance that by pushing him to be aggressive. But you kind of saw tonight what he's obviously been able to do in this league for a long time. So it's on me. It's on to just make sure he feels comfortable. It's on his teammates to make sure we kind of get the best version of him like we did tonight.
So 20 rebound advantage in this game for you guys. Do you think it was the other things that you did that you had been stressing, where it's not actually all about the glass, but it's about the turnovers and all those things? Or how do you explain the swing in this one?
Yeah, I mean, I think I felt like we continue to make a conscious effort at getting them. I think first shot defense is good, but I thought we kept everybody in front of us, and we didn't have our aggressive pick and roll coverages, so guys weren't able to get behind us and be able to do that. We kept everyone in front of us. So we have to continue to do that. I thought we pursued balls with 2 hands, we rebounded. So, but like you said, I think we had 10 offensive rebounds at the half. I don't know what we had at the end of the game, but it was 10-3 from an offensive rebound standpoint. So we did a good job combating that with turnovers, offensive rebounds.
What did you see from Neemias? How big was he tonight? The progression of him so far?
Yeah, I mean, he's gotten better every game. He's obviously stepped into a tough role, but I think he's gotten better every game. Tonight, it was impactful plays, like connectivity plays, an offensive rebound, sprint down the floor, block a shot, defensive rebound, sprint down the floor, set a good screen. He's just making connected plays and building on the great plays that he's had in the first couple games, and it's just going to be a habit. It can't be just a, go out there and do it a couple times. You got to build a habit of doing it, and tonight he kind of showed, a better version of himself as he continues to grow, and he takes that serious, so we need to keep getting better.
Joe, Minott dunks the ball, but he falls hard.
Yeah.
But he just literally gets right back up. You gotta love that.
Doesn't have a choice. Yeah. If you get hurt, you're not playing ever again. So it was he had the right attitude. He got up and he almost got a deflection, I think. So.
Get up!
And again, it hasn't gone the way we anticipated it, but I think we've gotten better physically, but gotten better mentally. And those plays show that. Like, you just have to stay hungry. You have to keep playing. Got to keep chipping away at the identity that we need to create. I think Josh has brought into that. I think all of our guys have. We just got to keep going.
What was the mood of the group after 0-3? I know it's only 0-3, but how did the guys respond to different losses, different ways? How did they respond in your eyes?
Yeah, I mean, no one's happy, but we have an understanding. We've gone through a lot of change, and that takes time. You got to be patient, and the habits and the disciplines. Just because we brought back 5, 6 guys, the habits and the disciplines of what you've done in the past don't carry over, and that's not guaranteed. And so we have to redevelop those, and then obviously redevelop the identity of some of the new guys and with the way we're playing. So I would say, I don't know the right term for it. No one's happy, but we have an understanding. But we put our head down, just keep getting better. You know, we just gotta put our head down, look up a month from now, see where we're at, keep doing it, chip away at it.
Thank you, Joe.
Thanks.
There's Joe Mazzulla. If anyone was wondering, the chat finally figured it out. That was not me frantically typing away on the Great American Novel. That was, I guess, whoever was recording that. Bobby set the microphone next to his keyboard. That was coming off the feed there as they're very frantically clicking and clacking. But that's fine. That was Joe Mazzulla. A mellow. I think Joe Mazzulla, it's really interesting. His temperament has been. Hold on one second. Oh, sorry. I think his temperament has been pretty mellow this year because I think he has to be a little bit patient with this group, even though he might not be patient behind the scenes, kind of yanking them around. But again, I think he recognizes the challenge. I think you hear it in like the post-game commentary of like guys like Jaylen Brown and Derek White. And those guys just kind of recognizing like, yeah, we got to kind of figure out what we've got. But again, I am curious if they figured something out tonight. I really do want to see if he's going to run it back with the same starting lineup that he had next time. We've got a lot more people to hear from. Jimmy. I'll get to it. Oh God,
You'll get to
Jaylen Brown's. We got a lot of sound. We're going to get to it. We've got Anthony Simons. We've got Josh Minott. And we've got Neemias Queta one-on-one. We're not going to hear from all of those guys all at once. But anything else to comment here? And guys, take your pick. Who do you want to hear from right now?
I want to hear from Simons, to be honest.
You do?
Yeah, I do. Okay. Let's hear from Simons.
Anthony Simons.
We don't know much about him.
We don't, but we do know he scored 25 points, 9 of 17 field goals, 6 3-pointers. All in all, hold on. All in all, easily his best game so far as a Celtic. Here he is after the game.
You know, that just came from, I feel like us, getting some stops and getting rebounds and maybe not get on a run and find open guys. It wasn't just me. I got open looks. Sam got open looks. Payne got open looks. Derek got open looks. So, it was just really, my turn to make something tonight. So.
Transition in this new system, kind of everything new for you.
It's been, for sure a transition, but I think I've been, enjoying it. Just asking a different side of, me out. Like, I think I've been trying to each and every day improve on, the things I need to improve at to help the team win. So it's been fun for sure. Each and every game, learning from each and every game, and applying to the next game, see what you can do better. Maybe be more aggressive on both sides of the ball. So it's been fun.
Yeah, Joe said he's been trying to remind you to be more aggressive. How has that been trying to find that balance between the guy you were in Portland to what this team needs?
Yeah, for sure it's different. I mean, obviously, me having the ball more in Portland, I can always kind of be a little bit more patient, knowing that I got the ball in my hands the whole game. And this one is, you got other good guys that has the ball in their hands that can make plays. So you kind of have to find your rhythm within that, and also while continue to be yourself and find your way in what we're trying to do. So it's been fun trying to look at the film each and every game and adjust and see where I can be more aggressive and just taking it game by game and trying to learn from each one.
How encouraging was that fourth quarter to see everything come together for everybody?
No, for sure. It was, that was something we've been building each and every game, I think. Each and every game we've been playing better for longer stretches, and I think tonight the fourth quarter really propelled us into winning, opening up that lead, and so it's been something that's kind of been building up for us over the past couple games.
What's allowed you to have that level of maturity and perspective about where you stand?
I think it's just self-awareness. I think I'm aware enough of the things I need to get better at and the position I'm in right now. So, like I said before, I want to be able to come in here and impact winning. We've been winning a lot, before me, so I want to be able to find my way within that and still be myself, but also find new ways to be able to contribute to winning. I think that's been the fun part, and I think I've been trying to, embrace each and every day is just trying to take those steps and build those habits and becoming that type of player. I always felt like I was, did anything I could to win. Based off any situation I've been a part of, and so I think this situation is just another obstacle or another challenge for me to see what else I can do to be able to impact winning as well.
Changed a lot on the night.
Anthony Simons, Jimmy Toscano, now you want to start him. Is that really what you want to do?
Yeah, it is what I want to do. I said that. I think I said that before the season even started. I mean, this is a guy who had started in this league. He's clearly capable of starting. He's a scorer. You need points badly. I know that they had what did they end up scoring tonight? A good amount of points, but I think generally speaking, John, you're going to be looking for points, looking for guys to get buckets for you. And Simons is that type of player, and I'd rather see him get hot early if he's a volume shooter and a guy that wants to get into a groove. Take a couple shots to start the game, get into that groove of what shooters do, as opposed to sometimes it can be a little bit more difficult entering the game, let's say halfway through the first quarter, sort of, the pace has been dictated already. You're trying to figure out where you're going to fit in, and he's already taken on a different role. On a different team, I'd like to see him in the starting lineup. I'm not saying it definitely needs to happen just because of tonight or whatever, but if things trend the way they're going, I think you're going to see Simons in that starting lineup a little bit more often. And there could be a situation where, whether it's Pritchard or whether it's Hauser, one of those two might be better suited off the bench. Now you really have to tinker with things in order to make it all work. But I do think that that's a real possibility. And, the more I watch Simons play, and I knew this would happen, the more I like watching him play, because he's just one of those guys that just knows how to score. And, at the end of the day, John, that's really what we're all watching, right? I mean, it's great to see Queta.
Yeah, I mean, and again,
it's great to watch Hugo, but I want to watch guys fill the bucket here.
Sure, but starting's overrated. Simons played the most minutes tonight, so
I know it's overrated, but he could, as well as he played tonight, maybe he could have done it better. Maybe if he started, he gets into a little bit of a groove early on.
Yeah, I don't know. I do like, I like sometimes when they're working that 3-guard lineup a little bit, but you are giving up a lot, and when they're having trouble rebounding, I understand the hesitation to do that. I thought Joe did a pretty good job. There was one scary moment in this game, and they survived it, but I thought it was pretty risky where they had no White or Brown on the floor. Which is something they're trying very hard not to do, but they had to. Jalen had some foul trouble. It's just kind of how things played out here. But if Simons can step up and kind of be that guy, you can get away with you don't want to do things like that too often. But, if he can elevate, if he can be, if he can be trusted a little bit more defensively, you can be more creative with how you do your lineups, because, you don't want to put, again, this is kind of, always talk about the blankets too short, your feet are cold, or you're, no matter where you're pulling it, it's just not big enough to cover you. Like, there's always going to be something you don't love about a particular lineup or a rotation, particularly when you have to kind of get deep into that bench there. So if Simons is able to be a little bit more of a competent two-way player, and so far, I think, kudos for, taking the defensive part of the game seriously, even if he's, he's not all the way there yet. It definitely gives you options to be more creative with what you do there in the lineups, because Minott, you defend if you're working, Ugo back in there as well. That's something I do wonder, and again, I'm kind of scratching my head over this. I'm wondering if Joe, in addition to the hockey subs thing, is trying to do something where, like, I'm going to have one guy be fresh as hell, sitting completely the next game, and then come in and play the crap out of them.
I thought
one
about
game
that,
later.
But I don't.
But it's so weird that you think a 19-year-old doesn't need any rest at all. So I'm still trying to figure out what it is.
It's certainly not that. I know
I'm trying to figure it out.
I don't think we can get inside the mind of Joe Mazzulla, and if you do, John, I don't know if you're gonna like what you see.
No, we might not. We did talk about Minott. One of the most interesting things is that plus 42 is such a monstrous number. I know plus minus isn't everything, but plus 42 in 28 minutes is nuts. On our text thread, we were trying to keep up on things, and it was like literally like our last 3 texts were like Bobby sent one where he's like Pritchard plus 19, Minott plus 16. I was like, however much later,
20
like,
minutes later.
No,
Yeah.
no, it was like an hour later. I was like, Minott's plus 33. And Jimmy goes, wow. And then like 5 minutes later, I was like, he's plus 42. He finished at a plus freaking 42 because the Celtics closed out the game on a good
quarter
run
was
there.
unbelievable.
And he was on the thing, but he was that way the whole game. He was impactful, all game long. 15 points, his first career start, 6 of 9 field goals, feisty on defense, had that great dunk and then smashed himself falling on his back, hanging onto the rim there. But double clutch dunks, one tough kind of floater down the baseline, did knock down a 3. So he was able to impact the game in a lot of different ways and was able to, get some buckets, which is really nice because I think that's gravy with someone like that. This is where you get stuck, right, Jimmy? You start a guy like this, like Ugo the other night. You start him and everything's great, sort of, right? The Celtics get 4 turnovers early. He gets 2 of them. His ball pressure is tremendous. He's playing really tough. He looks really good out there. But what does the final stat line say? 0.
Yeah.
You can't have that at the NBA level. It's really hard. You can't have guys. I mean, you can, I guess, if they're exceptional, and you can if they're like you're big, like you can have Draymond Green, but he's going to do different things without scoring. That's going to impact the game. And he's a phenomenal passer. He doesn't crater your offense, but
even
holy crap,
he has gotten worse on offense to the point where I think they are saying,
but I mean, 18 minutes for Ugo the other night, and 2 field goal attempts, 0 points. That's just a hard. You can't swallow that. You can't play that. You can't play 0 points for 30 minutes a night. So you need the contributions that Minott gave tonight. Here he is after the game talking about probably it's got to be, one of the better games of his career.
Yeah.
It's really all in my head was that, man. I just wanted to, provide energy, pick me up, whatever I needed to do, just help us get that dub.
This is what he sounds like.
You were gonna be.
It was exciting. I just got to thank the Most High, man. Thank my God. I'm just so blessed to be able to play this game every day. But yeah, no, it was just an exciting moment for me. Every kid dreams of it. I've still been dreaming. You know what I mean? Like I've been dreaming up to this day for it. So to hear my name called, it was a blessing for sure.
How would you describe I know you and Luka were really excited about the chance to finally play a lot and play regularly. Now that that's happened through the first handful of games here, what has that been like for you?
I hate to sound repetitive, but it's just been exciting. Like I don't even know how to really put it into words. Still kind of high on life from the game right now, but just the opportunity to be out there and just contribute to winning, contribute to team success. I can't take that for granted. Joe's given me that opportunity, and I just don't want to allow that to go in vain.
Did he impart on you the level of desperation that was required?
I wouldn't really say so. I feel like that's just me. If we're going to touch the court, I just want to play like I haven't accomplished anything. Because truthfully, I haven't. So I'm just going out there with the mindset that I haven't done anything, and it's time to go and try and help my team win.
Okay, when you fell, what was that like? Because you got right back up. Are you feeling it now?
Nah, not even. I cocked it back, and then I was thinking about just flushing it, just a little clean flush. But then I'm like, a game like this, it's a must win. So I'm like, I ain't want to, brick the dunk. So I'm like, I'm gonna just make sure the ball goes through the rim. So like in life, I just held on too long. Sometimes you just gotta let go in life. And but no, it didn't hurt though.
Apparently, Timberwolves Twitter is now saying you had one of those in Minnesota last year. You got right back up. Do you remember that?
Yeah, it was the block. It wasn't a dunk. It was a block. Yeah, and I landed. I forgot what it was. I think I landed on the dude I blocked and kind of fell the same way. But both times I hit my elbows. I didn't hit my face or nothing. So he's still alive and kicking.
Josh, the lineups and rotations have been changing a night-to-night basis. Ugo started, you started. Do you think that's an advantage for you guys? What does that bring to the table, and what's it been like, just changing things up constantly?
I don't really know. You got to ask Joe. That's just our war tactics, You're going to war every night. So it's, You know, I mean, I trust Joe completely. That's something he sees, you know, with each matchup. You know, each night is a different team, might require, you know, a different look. And, I mean, you know, I trust Joe to make that right decision.
What was the difference for you guys on the glass tonight? You guys won the rebounding battle about it. Like, what did you see on the court that was different from the previous games?
I don't think we had like a vocal switch. It was really just like, I guess we just wanted to go out there and do it tonight, you know? Everybody's just locked in. I mean, I can't thank my teammates enough. Man, it was just an amazing team win. You know, we were all locked in on the boards, all locked in on just, you know, helping each other out on defense. I mean, it was just like beautiful to see.
When you check into a game, what's your perspective of like these are the things that I know for sure I'm going to bring to the floor? Like, are there certain things that you know, regardless of the matchup or how much time you're going to play, that you know you're going to bring?
I know I just want to start with defending, not looking crazy on defense. I know like in the past it's kind of been seen as like my Achilles heel, even though like I've never really seen it as that. But I say, yeah, I feel like that's just my best way to, you know, help the team out is just defending to the highest level and, you know, just spacing the floor and allowing my teammates, you know, the opportunity to, you know, create for themselves and others.
So that was seen as your Achilles heel before?
To the fans, but then again, like, they're fans. Like, what do they know, you know? So, yeah, nah.
Huh.
Really all I got.
Josh, the war tactics of changing the starting lineups and not being sure who's going to play night to night, mentally, does that force you to prepare in a certain way?
Not just me, all of us. Forces all of us to understand that, you know, it could be anyone's opportunity that night. And what I love about that is, you know, you have to wake up each day and realize, like, you know, I have to lock in because I could be the one to, you know, help us impact winning tonight. So, you know, all 15, 16, however many of us it is, you know, you just got to wake up each day and understand that, like, yo, this could be my night to really, like, you know, help us impact winning.
I love this guy. I love this guy. He's my new favorite Celtic by far.
He's climbing the ranks. Hey, a couple more games like this, and I'll be right there with you, John. But
I just want to listen to him talk.
I was gonna say, how about a guy with a little personality, likes to chat?
Oh my God, he's interesting as hell.
Complete sentences.
I love this guy. Oh my God, just interview him.
Yeah, keep him. You know, I take it back. Start him over Simons. How about that?
Hey, the guy on the chat right now who thinks I blocked him for one reason, I can guarantee I didn't block you for the reason you think, dude. It might have to be something else. I'll just tell you that.
What's this?
Okay. Anyway, nothing. It doesn't matter. But he's got it completely wrong. Anyway, yeah, no, I love this guy. He's my favorite. This is great. Yes, he's my new Romeo. Listen, guys. Jimmy, I'm tired of explaining Romeo, and you're not gonna do it justice.
I don't have your back. I don't have your back. No, not with Romeo.
I'm tired of explaining it. I've explained it so many times.
You can explain it until you can explain it until you turn blue in the face. It doesn't mean the explanation satisfies us.
Fine, fair enough. But because Bobby and Noah are so ridiculously late to this show, I'm going to say this right now. No one gets to claim him. I've just claimed Josh Minott now. I know they liked him.
You're going to get pushed back. Yeah.
I don't care. He's mine. That's it. Noah tried to steal Luke from Bobby. Sure. Everyone tries to claim everything, not allowing it. That's it. Not allowing it.
Well, I'm pretty sure Noah and Bobby are both massive Minott fans, so it might be.
I don't care.
Might be a Minott menage a trois, as they say. Just saying.
Yeah. We need to get Bobby a new Luke. Yeah. Yeah, Bobby is. Bobby's gonna say he saw it 5 years ago.
No, Bobby's on Queta, so Bobby's got his guy.
I am flexing. You know why I'm flexing? Because I'm here. Where are those guys? I don't know. I'm going to shut this friggin' stream down if one of them doesn't appear in the next 2 minutes.
We're very close to
Real Patriots Bob Manning has entered the studio. You guys have no idea what we're looking at here. I got to tell you. There's Miami Bobby, there's Boston Bobby,
and
when as soon as he gives me a thumb up, I'm gonna show you Bayou Bobby. Okay, Bobby, are you ready? 1 minute.
Wait a second. He's still.
Oh my God, this was worth it.
John,
This
can
was
you
worth
just
an
go
hour.
solo? Can you go solo screen for him when he comes on?
I will
We-
as soon as he's
we-
ready. Is he
I think we
ready?
got it. I think we got 2
Bye,
thumbs
you, Bobby.
up. Bye, you, Bobby. Wow.
Yeah.
Where did you get that? Is it like Halloween
So
over there today?
I was texting Amit. It is getting pretty close. And I was like, oh man, I flew down this morning. I forgot the bucket hat because this felt like a bucket hat city. So I was like, all right, I've been wearing the bucket hat for a while in the warm climates. New Orleans felt like a different kind of vibe. So I was walking around, French Quarter, that kind of thing, and saw a couple hat stores. So after I got some lunch, I was like, all right, let me drop into the hat store. Tried on like 5 of them. And
The local chapeau shop.
I gotta say, hats are expensive.
Yeah.
I put one on.
I don't know if that
$200.
hat should be.
No, this one's not $200.
Let me ask you this question, Bobby. Did you wear this around people today?
Did you wear that covering the game?
Like
Yes.
Joe
No.
answered your questions while you were wearing this, and he kept a straight face.
He did keep a straight face. I was curious what they were gonna say, but no comments from it, except from Noah. Who,
Yeah,
of
I mean,
course,
what could
hated on it.
you say? Yeah.
Noah's muted because she's talking trash about the hat right now. Fortunately,
Oh no, we can't hear you.
she
We'll
was just
figure it out
crushing the
eventually.
hat right there. She was
We can't
killing
hear
it.
you, Noah. Don't worry, Noah. I'm having the
Listen,
same issue with
I'm
that
trying to
microphone.
tune out. I'm
We
trying to
got you
tune out. I
tonight.
think you two are supportive. Noah was talking trash. Didn't get any comments from the players. Christian liked it, John. So I'll
You
take
think
that.
me and John are supportive of it? Okay, we'll leave it at that.
Sounded
That's
like it.
curious. You know what
I
I
asked you
am?
if it was Halloween, but
Bobby,
sure.
Bobby, I'll tell you this:
Here's a
if
better look
you
at
didn't
it.
wear that hat, nobody
Yeah, we
would.
saw it.
So I'm glad someone is.
What's on the-
because I
what's-
wouldn't. And but I'm boring, and the world.
Is this how
needs
you wear it,
people-
brim up or brim down?
You're asking the wrong guy, dude.
I think it's
How
up.
about
Noah?
Yeah.
All right, Noah, say what you want to
I'm
say.
here. Listen, here's my problem. Bobby asks me my opinion on these things. I come and say I hate your hat, but he's asking me what do you think about my hat, and then I don't know, what did I even say? I barely even said anything.
I think you gave a look. I think that's
That's
what it was.
the
I
silence
have
is
no
deafening,
problem. I
Noah?
have no problem with Bobby's hat.
All right, that's progress.
Okay.
It's just
Okay,
missing
guys.
safari, Bobby. It's just missing the safari flaps. To be completely honest.
Guys, in the 90 seconds we have left in this show, what do you want to talk about? And it can't be Josh Minott because he's mine, and I've claimed him, and you guys don't get to talk about him.
Is
But
he the
anything
brownie?
else you guys like? It doesn't matter what he is. Anything else you guys want to talk about?
I want to talk Queta because I was on press row tonight defending him.
Actually, I
felt like
gave
he's
Queta
been
my
okay.
brownie. I got to come clean. I
Okay.
gave him my brownie. I did. Go
Queta
ahead.
played great.
Can't talk about Queta either.
Queta
Can't talk
played
about
great
Queta.
tonight, and
Something else. Scheierman or nothing.
Best Scheierman minutes of the season.
yeah,
They were.
They were only Scheierman
I wanna say
minutes of the
this.
season.
that does make me think because he hit that 3 at the end of the third, which somehow was only his second shot of the season. I was like, is that real? No, and it was, even though he's playing like 3 games at this point. And then they didn't hit a 3 until like a couple minutes into the fourth. And then once they started hitting them in the fourth, they came in droves. And what did they finish in this one from 3? It had to be a pretty good percentage by the end of it because they hit like 4 out of 5 at one point. They got up to 34. They were falling around 29 for most of the night. The one thing there's many things that have shocked me about this season. I shouldn't say the one thing. Their 3-point shooting's been abysmal. And it's been hard for me to tell, is it tougher looks? Are guys being, defended harder? Guys up the lineup. Obviously, some of their best players have struggled from 3. But this is one of the best 3-point shooting teams over the last handful of seasons here, and they've legitimately been one of the worst to begin this year. So that fourth quarter stretch, I think they hit 4 out of 5. No, it was the first time, I think 3 of them were from Simons, that we've seen this team shoot well from 3. And as many issues have gone on with the team so far, a big one was the fact that they were shooting terribly from 3, and their opponents were shooting really good through the first 2 games at the very least there. And then Detroit didn't really hit them from there. It was more the offensive rebounds. But the opponent shooting came back to earth. in the Detroit game. New Orleans only shot, what they finished with in this one, 25% from three. So in the two games where their opponents came back to earth from three, they were in really good positions to win. Obviously, they did it tonight and they blew it in Detroit. So they should be a little better than 1-3 right now, is my takeaway. Like, I don't think it's been that bad. And that's what I've tried to say all along, John.
It's not even that bad. Philly's playing well and was better than we gave them credit for. They blew that game, so you can say it was a winnable game. It was a winnable game, but maybe we underestimated the opponent. The Knicks are clearly considered one of the top 2 or 3 teams. That one on the road is likely to be an L, or at least one that you're expected to lose, not that you couldn't possibly win it. So not crazy. And Detroit's one of those 50-50s. And when you do as many bad things as they did in that game, that's going to happen to you as well. Look at all the things that they fixed. And Noah, I'll ask you, how much of it was the opponent? How much of it is maybe whatever Joe is driving home about rebound, hit the glass, and all of that stuff? You know, they really won the boards battle. They did really well on the offensive glass. They converted second chance points, which is an area they were absolutely getting killed prior to tonight. Their assist total went from 17 a game up to 24, 25 tonight. The fouls, though they weren't perfect, 17 in the first half, only 7 in the second half after averaging 25 plus the first 3 nights. So like a lot of the, oh my God, you'll never win if you do this stuff, they kind of corrected a lot of it all in one fell swoop. Is that just simply a byproduct of getting easier buckets, hitting more shots, or is there something Joe kind of got to them a little bit and they, you know, more of a team effort when it came to crashing the glass and different things like that, versus what we saw the first 3 nights?
Yeah, from my standpoint, you can't deny that there is a talent disparity between this Pelicans team and some of the teams that they faced.
Right.
At the same time, I'll say one person individually. Like I rewatched every offensive rebound multiple times that the Celtics have led up the season. And I think one of the challenges right now is that they have a starting center who is much more inexperienced than the person that he's up against most nights. And I thought tonight, Queta was one of the biggest difference makers. And the question is, how sustainable is that? Is it something that he can build off of? But like, I don't want to say that all of the rebounding woes and all the rebounding success they had today is based off of one person, but I felt like he was the X factor in this game. And I think when we talked about the season, he was the X factor heading into the season because we didn't really know what to expect from him in a bigger capacity. And we knew what to expect from other guys. So like he made a much bigger effort, I think in general. And honestly, he always plays hard. So it's not that he wasn't trying hard in previous games, but I think you just saw more success today. But then guys like Sam Hauser, guys like Jaylen Brown, like I think they were more intent on crashing the glass than they have been in previous games. I mean, at this point, they know that's why they're losing. So it's hard to ignore that heading into game 4 where it now feels like your life's on the line. Nobody wants to go down 0-4, especially against a Pelicans team that should be one of the more winnable games in this conference.
Yeah,
I felt pretty rough.
They're not really starting a set. I mean, was Sadiq Bey the starting center? You don't have Zion who can be a little bit disruptive on the glass as well. They didn't really have much of a presence down low. So I don't want to make it all opponent driven, but
they had a battle. I wouldn't say New Orleans had
a couple. Then DeAndre Jordan came in.
Jordan came in and hit them hard for a couple plays
and did stuff. Yeah.
And he's he's older and he was out of the league and all that, but at the same time, like he knows how to crash the glass, right? Like he's made a career of that. Mm-hmm. So, there's an element like I was looking at, I was like, he'd be a great addition to this roster. But I will point out one thing: Queta has been one of the most positive plus-minus players on the team. I think he actually might have the highest net rating.
He's so much better than the other guys. Like that's the thing. He's up and down.
I think he's made good things happen. Like 4 blocks in this game. He had some massive plays in this game.
He's getting in some good positions where he really just faces up the guy in front of him and just stonewalls him at the rim and really uses his length to stop some point blank shot. Like if a guy gets within like 3 feet of the rim and uses his length and goes right up, they're going to finish that a lot. And he's done a good job stopping some difficult shots in there. There were a few of those tonight, I thought, Noah. And the screening's been really good when you look at it. Joe talked about him connecting plays, so like making a play on defense and turning it into offense. Yeah. Yes, sir.
I can't tell if we should keep talking about the game or if we should just talk about Bobby's hat. The chat is only talking about Bobby's hat.
You missed the hat segment. I think you intentionally missed it.
Confirm or deny.
The Jurassic Park comment just killed me, but I didn't want to laugh while Noah was giving serious.
No, I'm like,
basketball.
why am I even talking about basketball when everybody here only wants to talk about Bobby's hat?
Their job.
Whoa.
Yeah, I know. Their job is to talk about the hat. Our job is to talk about basketball. Okay, ignore the.
I'll
ignore
just, yeah.
It's
I also
uncanny.
thought
Even
this
the
was
beard.
Yeah.
Even
So the
beard
beard's
was
gonna
uncanny.
go. First win of the year. We agreed. The beard would go. I didn't have anything on me tonight to do it live on the air, but rest assured it'll be
That's
gone
okay.
tomorrow. What?
He's a man of his word. No, what do we have to do to
just
get the hat
picturing
to
live
go?
on the air. That's all. Just the visual.
How
I
many
mean,
wins for the hat to go?
that would have been must see YouTube.
No, you're doing it somewhere where everyone's gonna see it. Yeah, we got to do something anyway. Yeah,
But yeah, Queta, you got to be excited about him. Like, there's been a lot of pressure on him. There's been a lot of criticism. And I talked to him after the game, and I'm like, everyone's killing the team for not being able to rebound, and that's like kind of your job. Like, are you taking the blame on that? Like, are you feeling the heat on that? And he's like, yeah, that's my job out there, and he has been the one in a lot of situations who has missed those. They were talking about before the game, saying a lot have gone over their heads. They've been in some tough positions, but they've just missed it. So, the toughest question to ask, John, you've been in a million basketball scrums. When you ask about rebounding, you're not going to get a real answer. Like, it's like, you just got to go get it. That's all there really is to it. They haven't been able to do it. They don't have great personnel to do it, but they do have the ability to do it better than they've done it so far. Because I think you said, no, it's been historically bad through the first 3 games. It improved drastically tonight. And, I'll give Joe some credit too. He's been big on, we got to go to the other side and kill the other team on the glass offensively too. And that's exactly what they did tonight. Give some credit to Pritchard, who's taken a lot of heat. He's stepped up in a big way there. Minott obviously helped tonight in the starting lineup. And other guys up and down the lineup have made their presence felt in that area as well. Jalen was banging a lot inside tonight, and he took a lot of the blame after the Detroit game, I felt like, for needing to be more physical, needing to be more nasty on the boards, the way he put it. So he hasn't been a great rebounder in his career. He hasn't had to be. A lot of these guys haven't had to be. A lot of these guys just haven't played games.
And that's kind of what I asked Joe after last game of like, people talk about rebounding, it's just effort. And I think there's an element to that. But someone here had a comment about how I think Cedric Maxwell was saying on the radio that Queta sometimes is too close to the rim on box outs. Like, that's the kind of thing where as he gets more experience as the starting center of this team, and as he bangs against some of the best centers in this league, like, he is going to perfect that positioning. I think somebody like Jalen has gotten a handful of rebounds per game in his career, but it's never been, he's had other responsibilities that he's shouldered, and he's never really had to think too hard about that. So I do think there's an element of like guys adjusting to their renewed role and the margin of error on the boards being so thin. Like, we all know the difference, even just from playing pickup basketball, between when there's one guy you can count on to just get all those 50-50 boards versus when there isn't. And it just changes everybody else's job. And I think that's what we're seeing right now. And they're not going to ever be a great rebounding team, but I think we saw today how they can be a more manageable rebounding team.
And man, did they stink.
Yeah, I just hit my knee.
Quick question I have for you guys. It doesn't matter, like, the necessarily who starts. It really is who plays, and oftentimes who closes in close games. Anthony Simons ended up having the most minutes on the team in the game with 32 coming off the bench.
Close without Jalen.
Which, again, the close doesn't matter. Jalen had to sit for a huge stretch in that fourth quarter with 5 fouls, and then when he came back in, the game was out of hand, so it didn't really matter. But that's beside the point. After tinkering with the starting lineup multiple times, and Joe saying rotations, they might change, and we're going to be, this and that. And we did say maybe they'll do it based on the team that they're playing. But now you're looking at, 3 different starting lineups in 4 nights. You had Ugo in one, and then he goes DNP-CD in this one, and then you have Josh Minott in this one. Granted, it's a win, but do you feel like they're going to settle in on something, or do you feel like they're going to settle in on this one after Minott played the way that he played, and or it's still going to be, who knows next game?
I think they're going to figure out.
Go ahead, Noah.
Oh, we disagree.
No, go
I
ahead.
was going to say, I think they're going to figure out somewhat of a set rotation at some point this season. Like, it's not going to be as set as years past, but this whole like Josh Minott DNP, Ugo DNP, that's not going to be consistent throughout the year. I would be stunned if that were the case. I think Ugo is here to stay as part of the rotation, and I think Josh is as well, and it's not going to be one or the other.
Ugo's here to stay. Oh, one of them.
I don't think it's one or the other. I think they both have a role to play on this team this season.
Oh, yeah, I think everybody's going to have to. So that's why I think they're going to keep changing it as the year goes on. And listen, do they have one by February? Maybe. Like, it's tough to predict the future to that degree and know where this team even is at that point. But in the early couple months here, they're going to keep changing it. Like Wednesday, I can't imagine they wouldn't put a second big out there to go against Mobley and Allen. I know they haven't yet, but I think that one's just such a drastic challenge on the glass that they're going to have to at least start the game that way. And I also think there's an element of getting different guys going. Like you said, Noah, that Minott doesn't play at New York. Now he's back in the mix as a starter tonight. Tillman, similar story, major role in the opener, and then he's lost minutes recently. Ugo, I think there was a concerted effort to get him involved, and then he didn't play tonight. So I think that's going to continue. One guy I think who's due to get more involved, who hasn't done a ton so far, is Chris Boucher, who I think this team needs at some point here, and they just haven't been able to get involved enough. And Joe talked a little bit about that challenge after the game. It's not the same scenario.
No one has ever needed Chris Boucher. I just want to be clear.
This team
like
needs
it doesn't
everybody,
mean,
John.
It doesn't mean he can't potentially help, but like that sentence has never been uttered.
Wait a second. That's a champion.
Anyway,
big minute
Yeah,
player.
I think he fits
because of him.
He fits in really well to what they're trying to do this season. So if he doesn't end up playing in this rotation, it's because he wasn't playing well at all, because he doesn't really fit in with what they're going for.
I've been surprised by his slow start, but forget the Boucher point. It's everybody. Like, guys have come and gone in terms of their effectiveness.
Well,
and even a guy like Simons, who has played regularly, has come and gone in terms of his involvement. And Joe even admitted that tonight.
Again,
like, I have to do more to get him involved.
But this is where we're gonna get stuck in the analysis of this team over 82 games. We have to understand this.
I know what you're gonna say.
The reason you don't get what you're hoping for from these guys is because they're not those guys. If they were, they'd be making a lot of money playing elsewhere. You're going to be living with inconsistencies. Josh Minott was great this game, and he's going to probably come out next time and go 0 for 6 and not make an impact and play 11 minutes and get 4 fouls, and everyone's going to be, what happened to that guy from last game? Well, that's the ride you're going to go on with players like this. Someone's not all of a sudden just going to turn into something that they've never been. Doesn't mean that they can't play well from time to time, or even play well more than they play poorly, but you're not going to get 16 points from Garza every night. You're just not.
I gotta push back against you on this, because you've been throwing it at me for so many days in a row now. What are we supposed to do here? Just sit and throw our hands up and say the roster stinks? You know, let's skip to 2027. Like, they're gonna try to win.
What?
I can't believe we're talking about tanking 1 week in. Fans, not you.
Talking no, I get it, because people are impatient. What I'm saying is, in the same exact way that people will, overreact to one thing, I'm saying try to not overreact to another. Like, it's just simply it's going to be what it's going to be. Like, I use the analogy all the time, the golf analogy. You par one hole, but you shoot 112. That's the golfer you are. It didn't matter that you parred a hole or two.
I'm saying that the rotation's going to change constantly.
Yeah. And
because
so
of
the reason it's changing constantly is because Joe's essentially, I think, trying to find a hot hand, recognizing you're not going to get consistent efforts from these players every single night, because that's just simply, not who they are. So you're going to love a guy one night and you're going to hate him the next. And it's going to be this weird roller coaster all year. So I think you just got to kind of wait it out a little bit and see which people kind of rise to the occasion. Where I do say, I don't think they'll be better necessarily after playing together for longer. Some people are like, just give it time. What you might get after 20 games is a clearer picture of who they can run with and who they can't. Maybe more so. I can't imagine they're going 10, 11, 12 deep all year long, because that's where games have been lost, to be honest. They've lost games by just getting massacred during one portion of the game, playing too many unplayable players all at once, and having the floodgates completely open and you not be able to recover from it. So they really do probably need to use this as a trial and error period and then figure out who are my guys and start to shrink it down a little bit. And some guys are going to fall off. I don't know which ones they are yet.
Yeah, I completely agree. It's just not sustainable to have so many different lineups and rotations.
Right.
I also don't at all blame Joe that 1 week into the season, I mean, the season started on Wednesday. There's
Keep
still
messing
different
around.
combinations out there. But at a certain point, if the intent is to win, which by all accounts right now that remains the intent, despite of what the public discourse might look like, they're going to try to find combos that work. And I already can say, like, if you look at their net rating, when Derek White, Peyton Pritchard, and Jalen Brown are on the floor together, this team has been a net positive. They've been really good. And so when you start to lose one or two of those guys is when things go haywire, and they're going to figure out is that Anthony Simons anchoring that group. Today we saw offensively what he can bring when kind of finding his rhythm and his confidence. Like, I think we're going to find out what those combos look like. And by the end of the year, some of these guys are going to be completely out of the rotation. I just don't think Ugo or Josh Minott are either of those players. I think those two guys are going to be in the rotation. Some other guys, I'm not sure. There's a limited number of spots. Ultimately, like, there's probably 14 guys that are
I don't know if Tillman's going to be in there. I don't know if he's going to be in there. It might be one or the other, but yeah, you are eventually going to get it down a little bit. So right now you're playing with fire a little bit, playing this many guys, and you're going to get
inconsistent. They have to do it.
You're going to get inconsistent performances, and that's perfectly fine. I guess the debate ultimately is going to come down to this, and Jimmy and I talked about it a little, and we'll wrap after this, because this is what's always going to be interesting is you're playing to win, and they say they're playing to win, and I understand everybody's a competitor. Joe's not going to be out there, but that balance between playing to win and developing younger players, you have to look at what you have, because if you are truly looking a year or two down the road, it makes a lot more sense if you give more run to the people that you think have a chance to help you, or that you want to determine whether or not you want to bring them along for the ride.
Yeah.
So I don't want to be messing with Ugo's minutes, Minott, who's only 21. I don't like this game being played with Scheierman right now. Ultimately, I want to see whether he can play or not play. Right now, he's shown you no reason really that he should be in there. So he hasn't earned the minutes, but ultimately you're going to have to roll him out there to see whether the only first-round draft pick in the Brad Stevens era can play basketball at all, to decide whether or not he's going to be part of your future or somebody you're just going to kind of move on without. Queta, I'm glad that he's doing that. You want to see whether or not you found Rob 2.0 in Queta, and you can develop him a little bit, and he's actually a viable piece as opposed to a stopgap measure on a team that couldn't afford to bring back any of its bigs. I definitely don't want anything that they're doing to get in the way of developing anything that you think is worth developing. That's all.
Scheierman's the big one there, because he's the guy you feel good about going back a year here to the end of last season that has gotten buried. Like Walsh, as much as we've liked him at times, he hasn't shown much at the NBA level across 3 years now. So you are getting to the point with him where you're like, all right, is it just not there? Scheierman, you still don't know. We haven't seen enough of him to make that assessment. So it is frustrating watching him buried to this degree, but this is 3 straight games where he's gotten some amount of run. So that's progress, I feel like. It's going to be difficult, like you said, to manage a full rotation here. And I did want to make a point real quick about the reliance on Brown, White, Pritchard, because it did blow me away today. Not only the fact that they have like a plus 120 offensive rating with White, Brown, and Pritchard on the floor together that just tanks when even one of them leaves the floor, but Jalen's offensive rating coming into today was 140. So they've been out of this world with Jalen on the floor offensively, and they've struggled immensely into these second units, and that's where these games have swung. Like you said, John, fooling around sometimes with 5 bench players on the floor. So that's a balance they've had to strike. We did talk to Jalen after the game about the injury that he's dealing with here, and he said he's still feeling some tightness, felt like he had to go tonight just because of the position they were in here. So that's something to watch too, how he manages the hamstring here, because as he said, he's dealt with that. But man, this team is super reliant on him right now, and we knew that was going to be the case. But it is astonishing to watch it play out, because their starting lineups have won their minutes pretty convincingly. Their bench minutes coming into tonight were 26th in the league in net rating. So they are pretty split along the starting bench lines, which shouldn't be a surprise, but that's what's lost them these games, are those second unit minutes. And it's actually pretty nice, Noah, that the bench to some degree closed this one out. Garza, Simons, and a couple.
And when
other
you
guys.
think about it, it's a lot of bench players around the NBA have a ton of NBA experience. And this bench unit is all potential, but it's mostly guys that have never really played in the NBA, actual minutes. And so that is inevitable that was going to be a challenge. But I think they're going to find good combinations because outside of Anthony Simons, like there's going to be other guys here that are going to prove themselves. So I don't want to overreact to one win the same way that I don't want to overreact to 3 losses. But at the same time, they didn't get blown out 3 games. They were in all 3 of these games. They were in this one. And I think there's a lot of reasons to not view this team as like a bottom feeder, which is where the discourse I think has been largely over the past few days.
And again, whether they are or aren't whether they are or aren't a bottom feeder, I still think really comes down to health. I think if they can maintain their health, they can stay competitive. I think one of the reasons I was concerned in my projections for the team, and I said my win total was optimistic, is it's the talent deficit. I'll ask you guys this question: What's the optimistic projection for Jaylen Brown games played this season?
75.
So that would be optimistic. That would be very good. What do you think is realistic?
60. I think it's realistic.
Yeah.
Bobby? He's going to play through stuff.
He's going to be pushing through a lot if he gets to 75. I mean, the fact he's already playing through a hamstring here is an ideal there. I'd probably go 10 games fewer, like 65.
Yeah, because that's kind of my concern is if Jaylen is 65 to 70, that's 12 to 15 games or up to as many as 17 games. You're going to have a really hard time winning. That's a lot of losses. You know what I mean? And that's just under regular load management circumstances. You lose anybody for a bit, they're going to have a tough time.
Credit to him. It looked like they lined up a rest night here tonight, and he just pushed through it and played. And
because he's like, we can't go 0-4, and absolutely. Yeah. And you saw Zion is out, and you had to get a W. So glad that he did that. But again, I am when we're talking about bottom feeding, I think you're seeing like they could go really low if things go the wrong way here. And you're seeing other teams that you maybe didn't think as much of in the East actually look okay. And that's changed people's perception, I think, a little bit here. Piece of trivia to close before we head out of here on this game. And you guys, if you already saw the answer because you read the tweets, because you guys can't get off Twitter, then don't answer. But Josh Minott finished the game as a plus 42. He joins... And let me get this number right. Just listen. 9th Celtic in the play-by-play era. I don't know, 1996 to 2026 to finish a game 42 or better. Okay. Who holds the record for plus minus in a game? Ooh, Jason Tatum's done it 3 times. Derek White, Ray Allen, Marcus Smart, Jared Sullinger, Jeff Green, Rob Williams, and one other person who holds the record.
Derek White.
No.
No, you got someone?
I'll tell you this. It's a guy Bobby's a really big fan of.
Luke Cornett?
No, not that big.
Grant?
A guy who Bobby has clamored for returning on multiple occasions.
Tice?
Oh, Tice.
Daniel Tice.
No.
Daniel Tice plus 50.
When was that?
Wow,
that
so
actually
that
makes
invalidates
sense.
the whole stat.
What year was that?
I don't know. I just pulled Grandy tweeted it. I just pulled
Jimmy,
it
I
off.
think these are your
really
first words since we joined.
I know. I let you guys.
I just realized I haven't heard your voice.
Look at drowsy Jimmy.
Shocked by the hat.
I know. I'm about to die.
Oh, because it's later for you guys, right? It's 12 o'clock over there.
Yeah, it's midnight.
We're fine. Jesus. I'll tell you this though, the hat was like a triple shot of espresso for me.
The hat gave me life.
I contemplated not buying it, and I was like, how could I not?
We're glad you did.
I'm so glad you did.
It's a bit,
and
right?
I think Noah will come around on it.
Mm-hmm.
Bobby, if honestly, in order to get through this season, I may build in a hat budget for you so you can put on a different hat. So
the way you're not joking at all.
I was gonna say I might have to expense this.
So for real.
So
Bobby, the way I see it, that's
any city you go to, I need you to walk into the local Chapeau shop and just say, "Give me the craziest
John,
shit."
Sure about this?
You know what made me think about the hat store?
Adopt the culture wherever he goes.
You know what made me think of the hat store, John? Remember when Cam Newton was here and he got
Oh yeah, do one of
COVID,
those.
I think, going hat shopping, and that was like a thing. But yeah, he inspired me to go.
I
to the
want a
hat
feather that's
store.
gonna stretch across all 4 of our boxes. You know, that's gonna go all the way through Jimmy's and through mine. Yeah, that's what I want off the top of that hat, Cam Newton style.
What should be the next one, Noah?
I don't know. I don't know where we're going next. Philadelphia. What else is there?
They wear like the scally cap in Philly,
I
right?
was gonna say scally cap.
I'm not.
You already own one of those.
Get after it. Get after it. I love it. That's what we're doing. That's it.
That
We're
could be a
good. We're
good look
doing
for
it.
me. The beard's going though. So
yeah,
sorry.
couple quick programming notes. Again, well, first off, shout out to our sponsor, Prize Picks, #1 daily fantasy sports app in all of North America. Pick more, pick less. It's that easy. Use code CLNS to get 50 in your lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, it's pays to be right. Also, check out Omaha Steaks if you want to get some fresh steaks here. Use code Patriots at checkout. Get an extra $35 off. And lastly, we want to tell you a little programming note. Our pals over at Still Potable rejoining the CLNS Media Network, and they are doing a little post-game action as well. You can check out their podcast coming up on our Celtics All Access channel. That's going to be premiering shortly. So if you want to hear from the guys, and that's Brian Robb, actually B-Rob won't be in there, but Jay King and Sam Packard breaking down Celtics' first win of the season. That's going to be premiering over on Celtics All Access channel. You can subscribe over there. And we do want to warn you one last time, the stream is moving. Not yet. You're still okay. But for those of you watching on the All Access channel, it's moving over to the main Celtics CLNS Media channel. So start trickling your way over there slowly. As soon as we see we move in here, Amit's got it. As soon as we see you guys starting to get the message, we're going to close it up, but we're not going to do it just yet because we don't want to deny you, Celtics talk and hat coverage and all of that stuff. So we'll keep it up.
Hats off
we'll
to
keep it up a
Bobby
little
and
bit longer.
Noah out in New Orleans. Great coverage today, guys.
Well done, Jimmy. Good contribution.
Put it back on. Put it back on.
Some great hat jokes tonight.
Yeah, I did my
it was
cap.
I'm taking my brownie away from Queta and giving it to the chat for the hat commentary. That was friggin' great. That kept me going. Loved it. Thank you guys.
More hats
Appreciate
coming
you.
your way with our segment, Garden Report After Dark here. Wrapping up the road trip. And Wednesday's the Cavs. That's going to be a tough one. This was great, but man,
You think the Cavs are going to be tough?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's going to be tough.
That is going to be. It's back to.
Put it in the bold
challenging
predictions
games.
piece.
Man, they have 3 games in 4 days this weekend. Philly, Cleveland, and Houston. Good luck. If they can win 2 of those, that'll be really impressive.
I'm going to have a very positive podcast tonight because I don't know how many more of these I'm going to have.
Oh boy. All right.
Dancing like positivity.
Noah, have any of them been negative?
No.
No.
That's the theme. Have you heard about the programming theme?
I heard rumors.
No.
What is it?
Can you even say one negative word?
We're finding No, I can say negative words, but it's positive takeaways from each of the games.
Okay.
And
you've always done that though.
Yeah, but they haven't been 0-3 before, so I had to like make a note for the programming.
Yeah. Okay.
If the Celtics win Wednesday, the hard hat makes its debut. So a little bit extra on the line. A little bit extra on the line.
Okay. All right, that is good. That would be it. That would definitely count. Anyway, check out Noah writing her stuff over on SB Nation. Make sure you check out the You Got Boston Pod Positive Takeaways version, which should be premiering on CLNS tomorrow. That's going to be over here on the main network. Check out Bobby Manning, CLNSmedia.com. Go watch Jimmy Toscano play music. Jimmy, where are your next gigs?
Oh, Green American Beer Hall, but not until November 15th. It's a Saturday. I expect to see everybody on this panel there.
We're doing it.
Everybody?
And then we'll do a live show after. How about that?
Deal.
Oh, by the way, the big the Brownie Award winner tonight. We got him exclusive on the channel tomorrow. Neemias Queta interview coming out as well. So check that out.
Yeah.
Look back.
Check that out.
One-on-one.
Oh, that was the wrong one.
I wasn't wearing the hat. No
it
hat
was this
there.
one. It was
There
that
you
one.
go.
We're gonna watch film with Neemias Queta. We're gonna say goodbye to you, Bobby Manning over here, checking it out with our
There
pal
you go.
Jurassic Bob.
Danny.
Thank you guys. Yeah, thank you guys for watching the show. We will see you next time.